Hello, everyone. We are here today to be talking about our new book, Heart Warrior, which I'm super excited about. It's a collaboration between multiple authors who are all sharing their journey of why they're a heart warrior and why you should be as well. And I'd love to introduce you to one of our co-authors. Her name is Helen Glen. So welcome, Helen.
Thank you, Annie. It's my pleasure to be here today. I'm very honored. Thank you.
Oh, I'm honoured to have you as one of our co-authors in this book, and I'd love you to share with those watching, listening in, why are you a heart warrior? What have you done in your life that has been really driven by your heart?
I was a migrant, or I immigrated here to Australia as a fully paying migrant, and I wasn't quite 21 yet, so I had to come out of university in India, in Bangalore, where I was born, to make a decision to come to Australia and then actually have a trade in hand. So I went and did a pitman's shorthand and typing, and to get myself a job as a steno when I arrived in Australia, so that I wouldn't be a burden to the government or anybody else. And leaving my parents behind and my family behind was a major move in my life, and it triggered a lot of anxiety, depression, but I couldn't concentrate on myself because it was a decision I had made for myself to venture out into this world as a new citizen of a new country, and I was determined to make a go of it.
Yeah.
And little did I know that within the 10 years of how my life would have changed so dramatically here in Australia as my adopted country. I think a lot of us have that story to tell in us, but the first few months were difficult, and my father said, if you miss us, you can always come back. But having made the decision myself to come out and to make a success of my life, I was determined to give it a go. And along the way, there were many encounters of hardship, and but within 10 years, I was a millionaire here in Australia, self-made. And before the internet, and before, there was virtual assistants and everything else. So I just want to say that, there is so much hope and so much that we can access here in Australia. Instead of relying on the government or wanting to be held back by a lot of heartache and sorrow and difficult times that life and challenges life throws at us.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because it does. It's always going to throw challenges, right? I mean, that is life. And those people who think that everyone, the successful people, they must have just had a smooth ride. It's never the case. I talk to people all around the world every day, and seriously, everyone has a story. And usually the most amazing ones, look at you, you've come as an immigrant from India and then become a millionaire in Australia within 10 years. It's phenomenal. So it's a phenomenal success story. And I love that you're very, very proud of Australia and what can happen in Australia. And that's right, free internet, free all of the opportunities we have today. So one, you are a phenomenal woman. But when people read your chapter, they are going to find, oh my goodness, you look beneath the hood and you go, wow, this woman has had a lot of challenges, incredible hardship, great moments of despair. And we won't give it away because we do want you to go and get your hands on this book through womensbizpublishing.com and Amazon and all your best booksellers. But you will find in Helen's story that, you have been a woman who you just chose not to be the victim. You chose not to be the person that, I'll just see how it goes. You must have had this warrior heart right from that beginning when you left and you knew you had a backup plan to actually go, I'm going to make it in this country. What do you think activated that? Did you always have it as a young girl, or did you have a moment when you got to Australia and went, all right, I'm just going to have to see where this goes?
Well, my mother always encouraged me to go overseas because her family had moved to England, and a lot of my family were in either America or in England or New Zealand as well. And my ancestors came from, believe it or not, I know I was born in India and I do have some Indian blood, but they were English, Irish, South African, and Portuguese. So
You're a woman of the world.
yes. So I guess it's in my blood to make a go of things in whichever country you live in. But I was at a weekend seminar in Queensland, and we had to get up on stage and write and give a little speech for 2 minutes each day. And on the second day, I noticed that during my speech, there was a lady crying in the group. And I actually happened to know the facilitator, and he knew my son, and my son had tragically passed away. So I just in those 2 minutes relayed a little bit about Justin. And in the tea break, this lady came up to me and said, "Please don't stop the work you're doing because it resonated with me. May I give you a hug?" And I'm becoming emotional just.
Take a moment.
Thank you. Please continue the work you're doing because my son is suicidal, and it just resonated with me.
Beautiful.
I'm sorry.
Oh, never apologize for drawing on your emotions, feeling the emotions.
Yeah.
It's always there, right? Just underneath, just beneath the surface.
It's always there. I found it very difficult to actually do this work because it was so personal and so dear to my heart. But I always remembered that lady. And so when COVID hit, I was actually working for a multinational company that made over $1 billion in sales. So we weren't given any government subsidy as many people were. And so I went back to study, and I studied a lot of grief and loss courses and accredited myself with PTSD, and I had already done the Authentic Education International Life Coach course. So I combined the whole of this together, and I thought even putting out my story was a challenge. As you know, I was chickening out at the last minute, but it does, if it will resonate with someone and help them, it would be my honor that it goes to publication.
Yeah, well, it's definitely gone to publication. We have this book beautifully available for people to read, and I think it's really important that people can listen and hear the emotion and the drive and the need to get these stories written and get them sort of shared with the world. One, for Helen to actually just unpack that journey and to have that piece written, that these things mattered and they were important and they're captured. So as an author, it's super important. But also for the readers, all of you who are now getting your hands on this book and reading all of the chapters from the diverse co-authors that we have, for you to be able to read their stories of why they're a heart warrior, why are they driven. You know, it can be that voice of just a woman who comes by your way that can change your life, can hit you, just be that person. It's almost like they're an angel. They're just sent at that time, at that moment, to then just spur you on, encourage you, light that fire, say that you matter, to, you know, something happens. And it's kind of like just an amazing universal explosive sort of thing that often we can't make it happen. We can't manufacture it. It just finds us at the right time in our life. And also you can hear from Helen's journey that it can be really emotional. It can be really confronting. It can be, you know, stop you in your tracks and go, you know, I've hidden some of these emotions. I've hidden or suppressed some of the things that have traumatized me and have challenged me and have tried to set me back. But now by having these sort of experiences, it actually makes you confront and deal, which is challenging. But then once you push through, you then just become an extra level of power woman, don't you? Have you found that in yourself? Once you've actually embraced your whole self and also all of the challenges that you've had, how has that then pushed you forward to be the woman that you then became to be?
Well, I had to not focus on myself, rather on who I was to others, like to my children and to my husband, and the caring that I needed to provide for them. That was utmost on my mind, and I did suppress my emotions, even though I did have counseling. I went to the professionals for healing. It's very difficult to do, to go through what I've been through on just your own journey. But it's important to have the help that's available so that I could then give up my best to, whether it was work or business or whether it was to my children or their caring. And to my family and relatives. They were most important and very supportive, because they were all in it with me, of course, with whatever happened. Yeah. And life is a journey. And, you know, I'm not young. I'm 75 now. And so I've experienced so much, more than what maybe a 40-year-old would. And so it is important that we just keep going, because life will throw so many challenges at us in so many different ways, but we overcome it. And there is a glorious life after pain, beyond the pain. I've actually written a 6 weeks course on this, and I'm just trying to get the right caption for the title. So that will come to market shortly as well, just to help others who are going through a grieving process and to heal compassionately.
Yeah. And for those of you who are going to be reading Helen's chapter, it's pretty intense, the you know, unexpected trauma that she had to deal with and the things that have happened to her life. You know, we would not wish that on anyone, and life is unpredictable and tragic at times. But I love that authenticity, your vulnerability, your sincerity in, you know, you're an amazing, kind heart, and you can see, even when I've asked you about you and your successes, it's still about, you know, you just want to be, you're there for your family, those that love you, those that need you, so that you can then show up as your best self, and to have the successful journey that you have had is a true inspiration. Why do you believe people should be reading a book like Heart Warrior? Why do you believe that these women who and men who've sort of suppressed their heart a little bit, suppressed those callings to just believe in their greatness, why do you believe that they should suddenly go, you know what, this is your time to read stories about being a heart warrior?
Because I think that beyond the persona, beyond the human appearance, there is a heart and a soul that needs comforting, and that needs reassurance, and that needs to know that we're passing through this life. We're on a journey. It is short. Make the best of it. And if you don't make the best of it, no one can do that for you.
Yeah.
You know, it's so important that go out and have some fun. You know, even though I was in the heart of trauma, I still made time to move to Queensland for a year and to run on the beach and have that time for myself. I still worked. I still provided for my daughter and myself, but it just took a different turn to having to look inward all the time. And being amongst people was wonderful. You know, just being the human being really wants to be happy. We don't want to be in a state of depression for too long, because the mind is a monster and it can overtake us in so many different ways. And there is a good life to live. There is a life that has been, especially here in Australia, we have so much opportunity. We have just so much to be grateful for, because I worked out in the bush as well for 4 years. I was out in remote parts of Australia. And I know that for my tax dollar here in the city, I am getting so much more than I did out in the bush. Even, for example, you know, we take for granted our hospital system, but it is excellent compared to the rest of the world. We have so much to be grateful for. You know, yes, we pay our taxes, but we see beautiful roads. We see the Opera House. You know, we see a great airport. We see so much law and order that you miss in various parts. I've traveled the world, so I can tell that we are so privileged. And I do think, you know, yes, life knocks us down. But that's why I called it Over the Edge in faith. But I had faith. My faith was very, very strong through all my trauma, that it saw me through. And, you know, whatever we believe, it is that core being that resonates with the divine. And that was important to me.
The word gratitude is just leaping out at me, that you have incredible gratitude, which is amazing for those watching now and listening in to hear that, you know, people who are incredibly successful, they often get to that stage they go, I've got enough achievement. I don't have to do it for anyone else. I already have confidence in who I am and what I've achieved. But then it's that time of sort of actually looking back and appreciating what you do have and all the blessings that have come with that, you know, amongst incredible challenges. And so once you then lean onto that spirit of gratitude, I think you then go to another level, and you've certainly done that, and you're able to share that with others, that even despite, I think there's many times that when you're going through challenges and things are just so hard, it's so easy to then look left or right and think I'm envious of this, or I'm angry about that, or I'm frustrated in this situation, and someone else's situation can always look better. But when you actually just, you know, focus on self and being that human that you're wanting to be, drawing into your heart, finding what that means, and then having an incredible balance, I think, what's come through your sharing today of, you know, looking after your own health, moving to another location if it's necessary, go running on a beach and get yourself healthy and into the fresh air if you need to clear your mind, pray if that's meaningful to you and tap into your inner faith, be able to just look around and just to have those gratitudes and be thankful. It really does help feed that heart warrior in you, because it's all the good things that actually go, yeah, you are worthy. You are, you know, you're here for a reason, and your life matters, however long or short it may be. And I thank you for sharing that in the book with us. Helen. I look forward to everyone getting a copy of our book, Heart Warrior. You will hear of Helen's story, which is incredibly powerful. You'll also hear that of many other co-authors, amazing women from around the world who've collaborated in this book. You want to get your hands on it, you can just click the QR code that you'll find, and you can also go to womensbizpublishing.com, womensbizglobal.com, womensbizshopping.com, obviously Amazon, Barnes & Noble, all your best booksellers. You don't want to miss reading Heart Warrior, and most importantly, take a photo of yourself with the book once you have it. Also, definitely give us a review, because it's all about the feedback we receive. Actually, that's what sparks joy. That's what's going to get Helen excited when someone reads her chapter and goes, "Thank you, Helen, for sharing your story. It really resonated with me." The same as Helen had that moment with another lady that just brought out that inner connection, that soul connection. You will definitely have that when you read Helen's chapter. So we look forward to hearing back from you soon. And thank you for sharing today, Helen.
Thank you, Annie. Have a lovely day.